My dad once told me he never lifted the hood on his car. Doesn't know what's in there. He likes new cars with warranties, key fobs, and sparkly interiors. First, I'm not sure I believe him, since he always seemed to be able to fix broken things. But even if it's true, I suppose I can't really blame him. What's under the hood? Well, it can be a nightmare, or it can be just dead. In my dad's world, it's just a matter of turning the old girl in and buying something new. In the Landcruiser world, there's no such thing as a throwaway. There are second lives, third lives, and those that are simply on the donor list. For instance, take this beautiful tan Landcruiser I've been working on for several weeks. Up until now, it's basically been in critical care. The engine is on its last legs, and there's no amount of life-saving equipment that can keep it alive or bring it back to life. Nope, it needs a complete transplant, and thus begins the 340-mile story of finding a Landcruiser on the donor list. Its heart is still beating strong and ready to bring another old girl back to life. Stay tuned for the journey. Death trap made it. Let's pull her over under some shade, start pulling her apart. We got the first couple of parts coming out of this truck. Again, look at the sand on this thing. It's like a beach in here. That's crazy that this thing is held up as long as it has. And so we got a lot of work to pull this thing out. Looking forward to it, actually. I enjoy this type of work, so should be fun. So that's gonna be my stopping point for today on this old girl. I did a lot, basically butterflied all the accessories. I know I didn't take you through a lot of that process. That's because in a truck that looked actually similar to this, I did that in a lot more in depth. So the idea here is to keep this truck running. So I was able to keep most of the things that would keep this truck moving and driving intact, unlike the cooling system. So I won't be able to drive it for long, but I want to drive it into the shop, and at that point we will finish taking out the rest of it. So that means just 2 motor mounts, the bell housing bolts, and the radiator, and she should be able to lift right out. So that will be the next step in this series. So let's go put this girl to sleep for tonight and get back to it tomorrow. Don't worry, there'll be other Landcruisers there, I promise. I'm just prepping the old girl for surgery today. We're gonna be ripping out her heart. Just starting doing the skid plate. Look at the amount of rust that's falling out of this thing. Just getting this guy off. It's unreal what the beach did to this thing. So right now we're working on getting the bell housing bolts out from the transmission. It's literally raining rust.
That's crazy. Just disconnected the clutch, which is right there. It's hanging here. Getting ready to disconnect the battery, the starter. So we just went ahead and disconnected the downpipe, which is this right here. There are 3 bolts that come out of the manifold. This looks like this. It was a kind of a pain. Had to use this world's largest extension to get up there, but we prevailed. They were really stuck. Had to get the breaker bar out to get them off, but they came off without breaking, so that's huge. Just took off the last motor mount bolt that's over here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it with everything, carburetor, and she should be plucked. So we're gonna roll the pick on over here and see if she'll come out without a fight. Well, surgery is complete. Now it's just time to clean up this old motor and get it prepped to go in the tan truck. First, we gotta push this dang thing out of here. So this is what needs to happen. This needs to come out of the hole. Parts truck needs to come out of the garage. This needs to go in the garage. Parts truck needs to come into this hole. Motor needs to come out of this, and then we drive down the road. Got it? Got it. That starts now. So right now we're waiting for some parts to finish putting the used motor together. Stuff's like the clutch, gotta pull off the flywheel and resurface that. So pulled the truck out here to the grass. It's a beautiful day for some engine degreaser. So we're gonna clean this whole thing out. As you can see, it looks like it's probably had an exhaust leak for a really long time with the old motor. So we're gonna get that all cleaned up the best we can. So when this motor goes back in, it's somewhat clean. So this is the engine bay after degreaser and simple green and some elbow grease. I think it's turned out really well. So the next step here is just to kind of let it dry out. Probably throw some paint on some of the metal in there to keep it from rusting. And then we're gonna be ready to put the motor back in. So that will happen tomorrow after she's all dry. So we're working on taking the clutch and flywheel off. The clutch is pretty beat. You can see it's starting to scrape the screws. So bought a new one that will be going on. Just got to get this cut and resurfaced. Horsepower. So exciting news. The used new engine for the tan truck is all set up and in. Just got to bolt her in and put all the accessories back on and then see if she cranks over. So that's really exciting. Can't wait to see her drive this afternoon. So come along for the ride. Got to get some tools to make it all happen. All I gotta say is that this truck pulling out of the shop under her own power today was a huge success. From going all the way to North Carolina and getting a donor truck and donor motor, pulling this old tired motor out and putting the donor motor back in, it's been a long week. We still have a ton of work to do on this truck to get her ready to go back online. Such things like doing the vacuum lines, as I am gonna go ahead and keep it desmogged. So we need to do that stuff to get it running tip top. As well as polishing the paint out, going through the entire interior and anything else that may be broken and giving her a complete detail. Once that's all done, she will be going back online, so keep an eye out for that and you'll see it on my channel in the weeks to come. Guys, if you like this type of stuff, you like what I'm doing with these old cruisers, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, and share these videos, as it keeps me motivated to keep on getting these old girls back on the road. Cheers, and we'll see you next week.